Here's a cube rolling. So 4 months ago, I showed you a Square-1 method that doesn't really have a parity problem, and I called it the Yoyleberry method. But here's the big secret, I don't use that method as my main method. And you might be like, well, of course, it was like a novelty method, and you probably use the Vandenbergh method just like everyone else. Well, here's another big secret. I actually don't know how to solve using the Vandenbergh method. I don't know enough algs. Like, if you asked me to do a U-perm with the edges, I wouldn't be able to do it. So what is my main method? Well, it's called Skwuction because it's a Square-1 reduction method. And actually, it's really similar to a lot of beginner Square-1 methods. So here's how it works. Let me just get a scramble up here. So here's a randomly generated scramble. Just like in most Square-1 methods, the first step of Skwuction is to get the puzzle into cube shape. I'm not very good at this. So let's see. If I do that, then that, then that. We're almost there. So there it is, square, square, we're done with cube shape. Sorry, I messed up too much, so I generated another scramble and I went to cube shape again. So we're at cube shape again. Step 2 of Skwuction is where it gets a little bit different. In step 2, we're gonna imagine every corner as glued to the edge that's counterclockwise from it. So this corner is glued to this guy, like this. I'm accentuating the creases. This is with this, like that, and like that. So we have 4 pairs here and 4 pairs down here. So the goal of step 2 of Skwuction is to make it so that all 8 pairs are lined up correctly. So how do you do that? Well, that's the hardest part of Skwuction, and I actually wrote a program to solve it optimally. And without parity, I think it never takes more than 6 or 7 twists, if I recall correctly. So it's pretty short, but doing things optimally is very difficult. So we're gonna do things a little more intuitively. It just so happens that the first 3 pairs can be done completely intuitively. And I think, if I recall correctly, there's a better than 50% chance that a corner edge pair is already paired up automatically, just by random chance. But in this case, we're not so lucky. Before I move on, let me just say that when the cube shape is aligned like this, I'll call that in alignment, because if I make a slice move, it does not disrupt any corner edge pairs. You can see that I can freely do this, and all the corner edge pairs like this and this, they're not broken up whatsoever. So this is called in alignment, and you'll be using that a lot, I guess. If I go like this, I'll call this formation out of alignment, because if I do a slice move, 4 corner edge pairs that are lying in the middle are disturbed. This one here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. So yeah, this disturbs it. So this is out of alignment. And one more thing to clarify, if you see something like this, you might think, oh yay, I got a free pair. But that's actually not a connection, because this corner is paired up with this edge. Remember that. The creases are here. So because of that, we don't care about this connection whatsoever, and you did not get a free pair. And just by fumbling around a bit, I got a free pair right there. But if you don't have any free pairs just randomly, oh, I got another one right there. Let's just scramble it up a bit. But if you don't have any free pairs like I don't right now, all you have to do is find a corner and the edge it wants to be paired with, which is right, okay, so yellow, blue here and yellow, blue here. Remember, we're looking counterclockwise, so we're not looking in this direction. And then put the corner kind of like here and the edge kind of like here. And now the cube is out of alignment, which means doing a slice move will disturb 4 corner edge pairs, specifically like these and these. So if you do that, now these will be paired up. Now these 3 other corner edge pairs will also be disturbed, and you might get other ones connected up by luck, but you also might not. Oh, this isn't a pair, oops. But using this method, you will certainly be able to create at least 1 corner edge pair, which is all you need. And with this now, you can freely move the cube in alignment like I'm doing now, using U, U prime, D, D prime, and slice moves, and it will stay paired up no matter what. So I said that a minimum of 3 corner edge pairs can be paired up completely intuitively, and we've got 1 here. So how do you get the other 2? Well, what you do is you put the cube out of alignment like this, with the connected pair kind of in the bottom left like this, which means that the 2 neighboring corner edge pairs will be disturbed by the slice move. And now, like holding on the bottom, you can do slice moves and U moves like this, which will break up pairs all the time. But just with that, you can find the corners and edges to pair up with these guys that are kind of like stuck on the bottom like this. So this edge needs to be paired up with this corner, so I'll put it here. But before I bring it down here, I also want to pair up this corner edge as well. So I need to have the white red corner here and the white orange edge here at the same time, so they have to be across from each other. So white, red, white, orange, those are the pieces I want. I can go like this, and now they're across from each other like this, so that they'll be bundled up as one group coming down together, so that both corner edge pairs get paired up at once. And now we have 3 corner edge pairs completely intuitively. And once you get the hang of it, it's very easy actually. Like, there's almost no thought involved in getting this to work. Sometimes you'll get unlucky and the edge and corner that are stuck on the bottom are actually the ones that want to be with each other. And in that case, you have to bring it out of alignment again, pull it away, and now you can do your stuff with the 4 stuck on the bottom and freely U moves. So let's see. Like that. Oh, no, not like that. Like that. So now we have 3 pairs connected all here, and we're going to put them on the bottom, which means we have 4 possibly connected, possibly unconnected pairs on the top and 1 right here. So how do you solve this? Well, this is actually far enough in the process that we can do it with algs. I actually generated all the algorithms for the last 5 pairs. And there was a time when I had them all memorized back in like December of 2015, but I've since forgotten them. So let's see. So here's how you identify it. You just see where all the edges need to go. So this is the white-green edge. Where does it need to go? It needs to go back here, paired up with this guy. So the arrow is going to point from the bottom up to the back middle, I guess. Now this is yellow-orange. Where does that need to go? It needs to go right here, pairing up with this guy. So it's going to be the back to the front. Now where does this need to go? This needs to pair up with this corner over here. So that's front to right. And where does right need to go? Right needs to go back down to the bottom. This one's already paired up, so we actually got lucky. And if you wanted, you could insert it like that and create a last layer case. But I'm not going to do that for now because I actually generated algs even with connected pairs on the top. So we have here to here to, wait, this is wrong. Here to here to here to here. In my alg set, you want to always put where this edge needs to go right above it, so like that. So now the arrows look like here to here to here to here. So let's see if we can find that in my book. 1 bottom corner unsolved. That's what we've got now. So let's look through here, see if we can find it. There it is right here. You can see from the bottom to the front to the back to the left. And that's what we have here. From the bottom to the front to the back to the left. So we just do the algorithm. So we always start with it in alignment. Let's see how I can position this well. And we want to do this in alignment. Okay, so vertical slashes are doing slice moves in alignment. Slanted slashes are doing slice moves out of alignment. U and D makes sense, right? They're 90-degree turns. And P means parity, which I'm going to explain as I do the algorithm. So U, normal slice, D, normal slice, and then I have this parity algorithm. Just I don't remember the notation, just watch, and maybe I'll notate it on the screen. It's like this. Here's where the 3 corners are swapped. And like that. So that's the parity algorithm. That's what P stands for. It's kind of long, but parity always sucks. Then a U, and then an out of alignment slice. Like that. And just like that, we have all our corner edge pairs lined up. Nice. Step 3 of Skwuction is by far the easiest. We just gotta solve it like a giant 2x2, where you can only do R2, U, and D moves. So sub-step 3A of 3 is to do to put all the pieces in their correct layer. So I just want to get white on top and yellow on bottom or something. I'm not really paying attention to the colors versus the middle layer. I've been ignoring the middle layer this whole time, and that's totally fine. And then sub-step 3b of the method is PBL. Just like in Ortega/Verasano, there's PBL. Well, we have PBL as well, with adjacent swap here, adjacent swap down here, and the bars in the back. It's actually the same as the 2x2 if you do Verasano. Like that. And now the two layers are solved. Except if you want to be advanced and solve the middle layer at the same time, before bringing this half down in the last step of the algorithm, you should actually put it on the other side, do this kind of useless swap of the two yellow sides, and then bring it down, because that increases the number of slice twists by 1 so that the middle layer will go from being inverted to solved. So now the whole thing is solved. So here we are at the beginning of step 3 again, right after finishing up the corner edge pairing with one of these algorithms. If you want to be kind of advanced, you could learn all the optimal algorithms right from here. So before putting all the pieces in their correct layer, you already know the optimal algorithm. And that seems kind of hard, but then you realize there's only 8 pieces. And you can also freely move the U and D layers. So my estimate is that there's only like 100 or so algorithms. And they're like, some of them are like 2 or 3 moves, so it's really easy. But I did not bother to learn that because that's too hard for me. So I'll just put them in their correct layer and then do PBL. Adjacent bars in the back and go like this. But before bringing it down, I'm going to move it over here so that the middle layer can be fixed. Like that, and it's solved. Before I forget, I should show you my algorithms so that you can actually do step 2. So the first page is for all the algs where the bottom layer is solved. Well, it doesn't have to be a solved layer. It only has to be 4 paired up pairs, and then the only unpaired pairs are on the top. And P, which is parity, is actually written right here. So you know what, I'll actually do that algorithm right now and explain what it does. Like all algorithms in the book, you want to start with the cube in alignment, which is like this. You know, where it's not breaking up any corner edge pairs. Then you do -1, well, I'm not going to say it. So this is the result of doing parity. You swap the left and right pieces on the top layer, edges, swap the edges. And then on the bottom, you do this kind of N-perm-like shape. Now the cool thing is that because you do the pairing before you care about where any of the pieces are, this kind of action is completely okay to the bottom layer. Like, you're still going to end up with paired pairs because you can see the pairs move around intact, which is really nice. So the parity algorithm is only 7 slices, whereas some parity algorithms are like 9 or 10 slices. Why is that? Well, I think it comes down to a rule of thumb that applies in a lot of cubing cases. The earlier you deal with a parity problem, the shorter the algorithm is going to be. So the same thing is kind of true for 4x4 OLL parity. You do it very late in the solve and the algorithm is really long and nasty, but if you, like, I don't know, set up your centerpieces slightly differently, you might end up with a similar length solution, but you don't have to deal with a parity problem. So because Skwuction deals with parity before actually placing any of the pieces, you can get shorter algorithms that mess up stuff, but Skwuction doesn't really care. So that's the parity algorithm. 7 slices, kind of nice, but you're gonna still deal with it half of the time. So these are the algorithms. This is completely solved. This is if you have an adjacent swap you have to do. Actually, an adjacent swap is just turning it into a opposite swap here with these moves. And P is the parity algorithm that swaps opposite things. This number is an approximate number of moves, including U, U prime, D, D prime. There's a U perm. This is the old algorithm I used for it, but there's a much better alg. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, I can't find it, but I just gotta show it to you because it's so nice. The bottom layer is completely solved pairs, as always. This one's also solved. And then the edges go here to here to here to here. So it's a clockwise U perm, like that. And then what you do is this. That's it, and now they're all paired up. So this U-perm, which is very easy to do, you can actually use it if you don't want to learn all the algorithms to solve everything else, because, well, let me scramble it up a bit. Because if you want to solve any 2 corner edge pairs and you just don't want to learn all those algorithms, here's how you do it. Put one corner here, find the edge that wants to be with it, which is white-blue. put that edge right here, so it's kind of across from it. Now bring it over to the left side. Look at this edge, the one that's currently next to the that original corner, which is white-orange. Find the corner that wants to be with that edge, which is gonna be not this one because that's on the wrong side, but it's gonna be the one that shares the same color like that, if that makes sense. So you can put it in the bottom back right and then bring it up like this. So now these two colors will be the same, and then move it so that the two original pieces go to the front, and then just do the algorithm. It'll do the U-perm, and that U-perm solves those two pairs at once. So again, I can do it with another two pairs. This guy here goes with this edge, bring it to the top like that. Oh wait, these two need to swap as well. So this is actually a two swap, which is kind of nasty. Let's see if I can find another example. Yellow, green, bring it to the top like that. This corner is white, red. Oh, it's already in the right spot, white, red. So these two colors are the same on the opposite sides here. So I bring the two original ones to the front, like that, and then I just do the U-perm, which is super nice, solving these two pairs. And then I can move them around freely with like the in alignment moves. And I actually only have, two swaps, which brings me to another algorithm I really like, which is this one here, the Z-perm. Look how short that algorithm is. It just does two swaps. So for that Z-perm like algorithm, you just put the two clumps of two swaps, one here where these two need to swap, and one here where these two need to swap, and do this. And they all pair up. It's super fast, and it occurs really often because whenever you need to do a two swap, you do that. Oh, actually there's another type of two swap that won't work with the Z-perm like thing. Let me just show it to you. It's also really nice. So you know how the U-perm was like this, and it does a U-perm on top? What's interesting is that even though it does a U-perm, it cycles after only 2 repetitions. So 1 repetition to create the U-perm, and then 1 will solve it again. Weird, right? Anyway, if you do it on top like this, it will do an H-perm on top, meaning these two swap, and these two swap. So if you ever need to do like 2 opposite swaps, you don't have to turn it into a Z-perm and then do the algorithm. You can just do this. So those I didn't write down. I don't know why, because I guess I just learned them and then I was like, oh, I already know them, so I'm not gonna write them down. But all the other ones are right here. Pretty much all the algorithms use U, D, normal slice, weird slice, and P. And then one of them that kept appearing a lot for me was the W perm, which makes sense because right there, this is wrong, that's, I think. So W perms appear a lot because they don't have much symmetry, but I wanted to find a better algorithm, so here's a better W perm, and this is a completely new parity algorithm. So yeah, that's W. Yeah, so this is for all the algorithms where the bottom corner is solved. Next, here's where one bottom corner is unsolved, and you saw that earlier. This little piece here, that's the corner on the bottom. So let me just show you an example, and once you see the example, it'll be pretty clear how to do all of them. So here's my example case. 3 solved pairs. Here's the one on the bottom. Now all the algorithms are set up so that you want to put where this edge wants to go right in front of you on top here. So this one wants to go next to this corner, so it wants to go right up there, so that it just goes straight up. Follow the edges. So we go to the front, to the left, to the top, and to the right, and then back down. And for a time I knew this algorithm, and I remember I called it clock because it's kind of like a circle on top. But let's see if I can find it because I don't remember it anymore. Oh, here it is, right here. Luckily, this one doesn't have any parity problem because it's a 5 cycle, which is an even number of swaps. So we can just do this algorithm right here and it'll solve it like this. Normal slice U, weird slice, normal slice, D prime, weird slice, U prime, U, weird slice, U prime, weird slice. And there, all the pairs are solved. So here's another 10 of them. Yeah, I can't believe I had these all memorized for a time. Crazy, right? And then here's the last 4. And that's it, because there actually aren't that many cases. Now I was planning on learning cases with 2 unsolved corners on the bottom that were adjacent, and you can kind of see them here. Well, that one looks really nice. Oh my gosh, that one's also really nice. And I think that's it. So let's just go through all of them. Here's diagonal, diagonal, which is the best on 2x2, and it's also the best on Square-1. You just go like this, like that, and like that. It's kind of the same idea. Here's adjacent, adjacent. You put the bars in the back and do this algorithm. Here's adjacent, diagonal. If you have diagonal adjacent, just turn it upside down. And you put the bar here so it's untouched, and just do this algorithm, which is very easy to memorize. Like that. Here's adjacent and solved, which is like a T-perm, kind of. And it's like this. There we go. And then there's one more. This is arguably the worst PBL, and it looks a lot like an N-perm, with solved on bottom and diagonal on top, and it's like this. There we go. Yay. That's all the PBLs. And again, if you're really advanced and can do all of step 3 at once, you actually won't need to do this very often. But yeah, so all the steps are not too hard. That's Skwuction. And one last thing, I think I'll show you a 23.03 average of 5 that I recorded back in December, I think, which includes an 18 with Parity. So clearly Parity doesn't make things too hard in Skwuction. But I mean, like, I myself am not a very finger tricky person, so the fault of that slow average of 5 might be in me, not the method. So the method might have some value in it. I don't know. Anyway, here's the average of 5.